So I think the plan today, as I'm out here in the shed, is to do the work I didn't do yesterday. So yesterday, I was originally planning on doing deficit pulls instead of the deadlifts that I did. I'm not going to try to substitute or try to make up those because obviously I did enough pulls. A set of 10 is quite sufficient. But I was planning on doing some snatch push press and some rack jerks. So I think I'm actually going to do those. I'm not going to try to get all the blocks set up because the big pair that, if you've been following my channel for a while, when I didn't have the two blocks stacked up, just the 115-inch one, those are by the back door of the house, so I have to carry them up here, and that's too difficult. I'm not that strong to be lifting that heavy stuff, so I'm just going to do it out of the rack and drop them on the pads. But I'm going to start out with snatch balance. I say that because that sounds like torture, but I really should do some of those. Maybe just overhead squats, but it's going to take me a while to get warm enough to physically do those because it is quite cold out here. Thankfully, it's not cold enough to where I'm going to die or anything, or I can't do anything, but I don't want to set up the blocks. I feel like I should do some snatch balances and stuff. Like, that's a good workout. The only thing I might swap around is doing from behind the neck jerks, maybe. We'll see. That's one of the things I'll just have to warm up. It is really cold in here. I think it's in the 30s right now. So this is a true testament of my battle of being too lazy to drive to the gym to do this workout and my will to actually still train. It's a weird feeling to not want to be too lazy to go to the gym, but not too lazy to not work out at all. It's a weird feeling you have on days like this when it's really cold and crappy out, when I would be much more comfortable to train at the gym, but I also don't want to spend 35 minutes driving there to do a snatch, balance, and jerk workout that probably wouldn't take too long. The only thing I might add on this, I might add some RDLs or something, because I did a whole bunch of pulls yesterday, so why not do some more pulls? But might add something like that at the end. I think I was supposed to do, or at least I wrote down to do some overhead press stuff too. So I might do some of that. But just standing here, I'm really cold, so I need to start to move. I'm currently listening to or watching the ATG video of Quo Sin Chin power session. So those are the noises that you hear in the background. I don't have a weightlifting gym hidden in my pocket, although I wish I did. But, oh, good Lord, these are hard to warm up. The bar is so cold. Who would have thought a piece of steel in the winter would be unpleasant to hold? So not only do I have to physically move my body to get it warmed. Let me move this to a better spot. Just gonna clip it right there. Man, we're just flying. Bar always twists like that when I have it on my back. Who knows why that is. But we're just gonna have it stuck on my shirt like that because it was kind of pressing against my neck. So I don't know if that sounded muffled, but the hardest part of warming up out here is doing this doesn't feel bad physically to do, but my hands are so cold that I can't do a lot of reps. All right, pray for me. This is always the hardest part, is being down here. It's easy, but coming up, whew, that's when you know you're sore. Which my body's very consistent. It's always sore. This is a T-Mobile commercial. You watch an ad before, 2 ads before, and then 14 ads during. You get 4 seconds of video to enjoy. But in between the sets, as I'm warming up, it's really simple. Can't really, I guess you guys, I'm kind of looking at the camera because I have my glasses on, I can actually see it. But I have my heater over here, and you just let it run on your hands to bring them back to a normal temperature, and then you can just go back to the bar. But I'm going to try to do some snatch balances. I haven't done them in a while, so I don't imagine they'll get too crazy. And too crazy for me would be 120, because I'm terrible at them. My snatch balances are more like overhead squats with how slow they usually are. It'd probably be better if I kind of went down faster on them, but man, they're just so difficult to do. They're not pleasant in any part of it. The whole movement sucks. I'd rather snatch 130 than try to do a snatch balance with it. any day of the week. But we'll throw this on. I actually should be able to wear the mic for a lot of this, but this will probably be a longer video because I'm going to do probably less edits. I got my real baggy sweatpants on, so I got to tie them tight. I'm not filling out the double XL sweatpants yet. It's unfortunate. My weight's been kind of maintained the last couple days. I think yesterday is the most calories I've ever eaten in a day that I've tracked, which was 4,700. It was actually over 48 because I had a scoop of protein before I went to bed to make sure I hit the protein. But this thing just can never be at a good spot. I don't know why that is. I'm gonna go ahead and just throw it right there. But somehow I managed that. I started the day out with rice. I ate half of it the day before. I made a whole bunch, and then the other half I ate in the morning as breakfast, which might sound weird, I suppose, but rice is actually pretty good any meal of the day. Oh, feels great. Now you know why I always throw on the knee wraps as soon as I start to warm up. Anything to help me get warmed up and loosened up faster. I'm going to go ahead and get my shoes on. Get my tap shoes on. If you can hear the music through the mic, you know the genre of the video that I'm listening to, the 2017 Hook Grip World Championship Training Hall videos, which are some of my absolute favorite just because of how well they're edited, the crispness of the videos, and just all around, there's just a perfect aesthetic. They're kind of like what Iron Grip used to do. It's just obviously with the 21st century, you have a lot better cameras and ability to edit a lot more. Those Iron Grip videos, you'll always be good because he just does such a good job of narrating it. But these ones are just, they're the next generation. Unfortunately, they gave up doing them because they don't make much money. I think that's what the Hook Grip, Nat Aram, and all of them said. Well, we're going to keep warming up and hope by proxy that all the drugs that I'm watching being used leak through the screen into my bloodstream for this workout. Hasn't worked yet, but you know, if I work out enough times, maybe it will. Ooh. All right, we need to throw in the knee wraps. Whew. Nice thing with a workout like this and an exercise selection like this is there's not really a particular weight that I'm trying to get to. Obviously, the heavier the better, but the weight is hard to really tell because it's a movement I don't do a ton, and it's a difficult movement. For me, this is more technical than a snatch. Is that true? Maybe that's not a true statement. Maybe I don't feel like that, but I'd rather do snatches than snatch balances any day of the week. Now, snatch push press, I could do those 12 times a week and be happy, but that's a pretty easy movement to do. So as you see, there's no particular way that I wrap these. I just get them around so there's some pressure, some compression, which helps tremendously. Maybe more psychologically than actuality, but why not throw these on? It's kind of a necessity when it's this cold out, regardless. Honestly, would wear lifting gloves if there was something that would actually feel good out here to have on while I was lifting. If I ever got desperate enough, I would go full snowman and do squats and stuff as I needed. But thankfully, I've never had to try to lift out here when it's like 15 degrees. This is basically the coldest that I've trained out here. I think a couple sessions I've done below 30, but yeah, it's usually pretty difficult. But physically overall, I feel pretty good. It's just like generally sore, which is kind of what's always to be expected, but nothing's like particularly worse, which for anyone that lifts consistently kind of knows that general feeling of like everyday soreness versus, wow, this particularly hurts, or I can't do this because of whatever limitation. Even if I'm extremely sore, the nice thing is my mobility is basically always there. even if it is painful to go in the range of motion. But like, I can always immediately come in and squat all the way down like this, and I can sit in the bottom of a squat forever. It's very comfortable. It's moving out of it where I notice soreness, particularly in the top part, or bottom part of my quads, above my knees. But that's just the nature of being a weightlifter, I suppose. Always feels better with the wraps on, though, which is why I like to wear something. Usually for normal training, I like having these on because you can kind of just keep rewrapping them, which is annoying in one sense, but you can also do it in between exercises and kind of get it to be comfortable and just adjust them between exercises to be higher or lower, anything like that. Knee sleeves just kind of stay on, and they're kind of hard to take on and off when you're all sweaty for the most part. One of the things that the shed kind of forces me to do more than normal is warm up more sets with a bar. So you see here, like, I have to physically warm the bar up, which I've always find the easiest way is to dual purpose it by both warming myself up through the range of motion that I'm training. So in this case, like overhead squats and stuff, but also warming my hands back up. So then it kind of warms the bar up as I'm warming my larger muscles up. But I suppose it toughens up your hands a bit. Puts hair on your beard. Which I've noticed I'm starting to get some white hairs in my beard, so I'm finally looking like I'm an old man, not just feeling like one. Maybe if all my hair turns white, then I can just actually act like an old man and say everything hurts and people believe me. Right now I'm watching the Iran team where Stami's doing some muscle snatches. I think he was injured in this championship, so he wasn't performing at his best in the training hall, but obviously still hitting good numbers. It's what the power of training as hard as you can will do, is that when you or I get an injury, we have to like not train, or you train like crap, but he still gets to do like a power clean with 190 kilos because of just how much crap they inject into their bloodstream. It's kind of wild just how strong that stuff is for a lot of those guys. They have to be tough to get through the pain, but I think Sarab Maradi, another Iran lifter, got popped for some sort of pain-killing drug. So, they take literally anything they can to get through a training session, which is why their arms and shoulders explode when they get too heavy and they get injured. That's always, I think, a very unfounded fear of weightlifting is like catastrophic injuries. Because if you look at the people at the top of the game, they're on a ton of drugs, so they're lifting above what their body would normally do to an extreme extent. They train extremely hard because of that, and they also take painkillers and stuff to mask whatever pain that they have. So there's no like limiter that is either biological, and normal people have that of just like you can only get so strong so quickly, and the pain tolerance they don't have to worry about, because if they take painkillers and the drugs help with the pain because of the recovery, it's the best of both worlds as far as progress. But that's why you see a guy do a snatch and his arm explodes, because your elbow can only take so much pressure when you're doing all that stuff to your body. Plus, I'm sure there might be some side effects of the substances they take just joint wise, but I think most of it is, if your body is only supposed to snatch 130 and you're doing 180 kilos, like your body's just going to break down in some way. Like you're just not, it's not going to fly. But I think I'm going to do another rep here before I stop the camera, restart it, and then start loading some weights up. Doesn't feel too terrible, but at the same time, I feel like I should just stay at the bar forever because it's so much easier than adding weight. If only I could just do this and take all the drugs that they take, I'd probably get massive empty bar snatch balances and drugs. Sometimes I don't move my feet. Sometimes I do. It doesn't really matter when you suck at the movement. You kind of do whatever, but add weight now. maybe one day long in the future. I've done a couple live streams of workouts, and the way that I set those up is my phone that's currently in front of me, I have a really long charging wire, and I loop it back to near where the camera is, and then I'm able to run it through there because I'm able to have a constant charge. I think my camera does technically get Wi-Fi, but it won't really be able to reach it out here. And the actual ability to get an Ethernet cord long enough to connect to a computer or a laptop and have that connected and like figure out how to get my camera to like feed through the computer. It's a lot of work and really difficult, but I think that would be an interesting thing to have is like live stream workouts where it's like this longer video, but this would just be a live stream. It's almost the kind of style that it is. But the problem with having a live stream is I wouldn't really want to look at any comments that there would be during the workout because I'm just here rambling to myself and trying to force myself to do snatch balances. So I wouldn't really have the ability to focus on that because I can barely focus as it is. So we're just going to smoke this 95 pounds. Not too bad. We'll just jump up to 135 and do that. Unless the weight doesn't come off. Right shoulder's a little achy, but nothing that's too limiting. Just something to pay attention to. That's how it is for most little nagging things. You just kind of pay attention to it, and if it stays the same, it's not really something you have to worry about. If it gets worse as you add weight and load and reps and stuff, then you have to pay more attention to. It's the name of the game. Unfortunately, this hook grip one's over, so I click to the next one and have to suffer through a Dawn 3 cleaning booster ad. I always turn off the sound. I usually just click off of it. And then like keep clicking back till I get a skippable ad, but I don't really care that much. What's this? Mezzo-Sona and an interview. So this is Weightlifting House now. Weightlifting House does some good training videos too. They do a good job with their content. I'm a junkie for weightlifting videos. That is for sure. But we get some of this bad boy chalk on. I don't really need it, to be honest, but it just makes me feel cooler to have it on. And most of the lifting is just trying to look cool. I mean, I got the Bill Belichick bodybuilder shirt on. I actually made this shirt, or this is a sweatshirt. I made this during COVID. I was out here and it was like in the 40s every day. So I needed something to essentially like how I'm using it now, just to train in, that wouldn't get in the way of straps and just be on my wrist. So one thing when you're lifting is that, at least for me, I become very like hypersensitive to stimulus that's around me. So if like I feel something on my wrist, it becomes extra annoying. All right, so 135. Rather unpleasant, but we'll just keep jumping up, keep getting heavier. We're on to some Ilya videos now, the quintessential training vlogs to look at. Some of the best stuff to have on while you're training. I don't do it a ton, but more so for like warm-ups, or if I'm stretching or something, it's nice to, really any of the like hook grip or ATG, any of the videos are fine. The Ilyas are like the OG training ones. I can imagine how much more he could have had video-wise if he just recorded even more, with just how many sessions he did. Because it was just, I think, a lot from like 2014 and 15 maybe, around that time. If he just recorded all of his training all of the time, it'd be a absolute tome of books. But we'll throw even more chalk on. Last weight was 135, so we jumped up to 185, 84 kilos. And we're just going to do some implying I'm going to do repetitions. We're going to do one single snatch balance here and see how that feels. 135 felt fine. Nothing that was too over the top difficult, as really it shouldn't. My best ever, technically, is like 290, so like 133, but it was a very slow snatch balance. Ugh. Positions feel pretty good. It's an unpleasant movement in general, so it's never going to feel optimal, but I feel like I'm putting in a decent enough spot to do more. So we're going to go up to 225. So 102. You're right, Ilya. I should scream more when I lift. It's hard to really get hyped up for a lift like this, though. I should probably take off that 25 before trying to add more weight. Might be helpful. Now I'm in this fun spot where there's no spot to put the 45. All right. Go ahead and jump right into this set. Hands are cold again. It's unfortunate. Tango Frio. Ilya's doing back squats. I'm basically doing the same thing. Actually wasn't too bad. I noticed my knee wrap was loosening up before that first set. Thankfully, for the most part, it stays tight. It's just like the ending pops out sometimes. So we took the jump up to 120, 265 in freedom units. So we're going to focus up for this. Maybe another jump after this, but we're just going to hope it goes well, which means we probably need to use some performance-enhancing music. Oh, we use this one. Solid song. Can't wait for it to get copyrighted. I could just wear headphones, but not in my own house. It sucks because like this is clearly creative use. It's not a substitute for the original, but you know it's gonna get picked up. We're not putting the pads down because we're not missing it. It's a weight I can do if you just focus up and do it. pretty difficult, but kind of expected with that big of a jump. I balance, ironically, didn't feel the greatest on that, but definitely felt good enough to take another crazy jump. So we'll go ahead and do 130. This might turn out really slow, but we're going to commit to it. That's all you can do with heavy weights. Definitely felt easy enough to go up. It's a pretty aggressive jump, but just a pretty aggressive guy. Can't find the other red. Hiding. Can't believe the clown that lives in here put it there. 8K myself. Alright. We'll throw these out. Just so we're not shaking, I would say the neighborhood, but that sounds pretty egotistical with only 130 kilos. Shaking the whole world with my baby weights. 90% of lifting is finding the crap that you have hidden around. I need to find a clip so I don't die. I don't really envision I need a clip, but you can never trust these illegal bars. They oil these bad boys up pretty well. We'll definitely use music for this one. With my notebook out. Successful 265. 287. Little red plates are 2 pounds. Because why would I do 220 or 129 kilos? That sounds terrible. All right. Whew. We'll just get it going. The best time to lift is 5 minutes ago. Don't believe that because I'm just saying random crap. Best time to lift was when you did 102. I'm an idiot. Alright. We'll try it one more time. I was definitely there. I think I just didn't commit fully. We're going to go ahead and try it again. I really think it is there. I just have to be more confident and more committed to doing it. If I'm not, then the same thing will happen. So I just have to yeet it. Yeet, we steep.
How much more can I take of this? I felt so great all my life. It's just my heart, my
Come on. Ah! Third time's a charm. I'm kind of annoyed. I feel like I should be able to do it. So we're going to try again. Set the man up a little bit more. Weight is difficult. I missed it twice. So we went up 10 pounds to make 135. We're going to see if that works. Could try 300 pounds, but 297 is enough. We're going to get a better song. We're going to get hyped up. And we're going to yeet, weet, skeet the way to the sky. Set to be patient. Patient and fight for it. Lots of patience. Whew. I don't know. We go Bloom. This is the vibe. Yeah. So naturally, the plan was to miss 130 twice, lull you into a false sense of, this guy can't do crap over his head, do a stanky 130, and then make 135 look easier than 130s. That's why when you see weightlifters jump up after missing and after struggling, it's exactly why. Because you see them extra bit of hype that I got before that lift directly correlates to me trying harder and doing that a bit better. It's more fatiguing. What it tells me is that's truly the max for the day, but it informs me. Oh, my glasses back on. I enjoy being able to see. But it shows that if you have that extra level, you might be able to make a lift. And that extra level is kind of the Super Saiyan level, I suppose. Because you have your normal heightness, like you're always trying it. But that little extra, like if I did every lift with that intensity, I'd be able to do like 2 lifts a day. So it's not conceivable to do that every single lift. Not healthy probably either. And you probably end up trying, heavy weights every single day and missing them. But when you're confident from a logical standpoint that like I should have a chance of doing it, and like if I just give that little bit extra that you can, then sometimes it works out. It's actually, I think, a PR. Oh man, when I was standing up, I was like, I gotta do more, but I always have to keep that in mind that once you try to get that hyped, that's where your limit truly is. Even if it's like, wow, that looked easier than the 130. It's like, yeah, I put on a more hype song. I yelled before the lift. Like, I just put everything into it. So like, that's truly it. And those are the lifts where you feel the most proud of whatever exercise or session that you do. Because you're like, that's it. Like, that's the most. Like, I could maybe do, in that moment, you think, well, I could do, 30 more pounds. But that's just that, like, little adrenaline that's, like, I'm ready to lift a car or any of that. But you want to save it for important lifts like that. But that's the most I've snatched from the ground. So, all you got to do is deadlift it up. I can deadlift easy and then jump under it. That's easy. And I can stand it up. That was easy. So, snatching 180 before you know it. But, man, I'm happy about that. So, we're going to do some jerk stuff, too. Hopefully, I hit some good numbers on that. But, oh, that's real nice. I was real discouraged after missing 130 twice and then getting it. Not discouraged getting it, but discouraged that it took me 3 attempts to be able to succeed in getting it. But it just shows how bad I am at lifting, which, that's not news to anyone that's watched any of my videos. They know how trash I am. The guy has a good deadlift, except he sucks at everything else. That's my MO. It's really moments like that keep me coming back to the barbell. And the reason that, like, I can push through pain and different things that would limit me and a lot of people from pushing themselves is a moment like that. Those are like permanent memories. Those are like core memories that you have just with like the feeling that you get of doing a lift that you don't know if you can do or not and then succeeding at it. I find that having the music with it, that is as good as like having other people around cheering you on. I love having music like that. It's just like adds to the moment because it's a song that like any music I listen to is music I listen to anyway. But like having a song, it like creates an emotional attachment to that song. Like there's another, that was Odessa. There's another song that I listened to, and I want to say it was 2016 before I started teaching. I was at, if you ever see me up in that Canton gym, their old location was a smaller place, but I lifted there in the summer when I still lived up north with my family, or I lived in one of my dad's houses near my family, but I was lifting out of that place, and we had an old chocolate lab that he had bad hips and stuff, and they put him down. Obviously, that's a really sad moment, but I remember the exact lift I did. It was a 565 deadlift, which was really heavy for me back then, and at least when I did that, it was a very heavy lift in general, and for that particular time frame, and in that moment, because I had not been whatever the training week was, like I hadn't been peaked to do like a heavy deadlift or anything like that, but I was really upset when he was put down. Not that anytime you lose a dog, it's definitely traumatic in that sense, but it wasn't like unexpected because he was a bigger dog and labs tend to have those issues. But the Odessa song, I forget the full name of it, but if you look up Odessa Memories, and it's like memories of something. I could probably look it up now if I got up to look at my phone, but if you look that song up, it's from around that time frame. It was a relatively new song. I remember listening to that song, doing that deadlift, and that just being like such a stress relief, and such like, I remember going in, just loading the bar up and just working up to that, doing the ugliest deadlift, but just not feeling even better after. Like you don't even necessarily feel better when you feel that bad, but it's a nice outlet to have because it gives you something productive that you can do when you feel that bad. Because I was too young to even really think about like alcohol or anything else like destructive like that. But when you have the barbell and you have a set of weights, you can take out a lot of the stress that you have, and that's what that feeling is. That stress leaving the body. Trauma leaving or entering your muscles, but stress leaving your body. I'm going to rewrap these and then do some jerks. I don't know if it's going to be behind the neck or in front, but we'll do something. But I don't know. I like to think of that moment because that was probably the first time when I did that deadlift where I was like, there's that level that you shouldn't go to a lot because it wears you out, but it's nice to, like, when you're that upset, you just like let it all out, let it all loose, and just do a heavy lift and just drop the weight and leave. I remember it being so ugly and yelling during the lift and just dropping it, unloading it, and just walking out, and that was the only lift I did that day. But yeah, it's nice to have that outlet that's healthy for everyone else. Maybe not for your body as much, but it's definitely healthy to have that, whatever that outlet is for people, whether it's weightlifting or powerlifting or a run. For me, I can never get that from a cardiovascular standpoint just because it just wears me out in a different way. But just having that exertion, that's what lifting's all about.